Hi, I'm Grace, and today I'm going to be showing you how to draw semi-realistic faces. So, semi-realistic is a very interesting style because many artists have their own version of it. And while you should develop your own style, today you are going to be copying exactly what I'm doing with your own. You can touch it up, or if you want to add something else, you can. But generally, you should just copy everything I do. This is a realistic drawing because its main purpose is to look exactly like someone's faces. This is a semi-realistic drawing, which is still a person, but the eyes are larger and the face is more aesthetically pleasing sometimes. Also, semi-realistic is a lot easier to draw than realistic while still retaining the look of a person in the drawing.
So, first step for drawing generally is you need a head. So, you draw a head. And I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but the easiest way to draw one is not by looking at models, but by looking at an egg. Someone once told me this when I was 7, and I immediately disregarded it, but I should have listened. The next thing you do is you divide the face into equal quarters. Then, from the middle line, you divide it in half, and then half again. So the first line is your eye, second line your nose, third line your mouth. After that, you draw 5 large circles. Now, then you draw your eyes, and this video just skipped over it for some reason, but that is okay. You can see here that my eyes look normal except for the inner eye bit where your nose is, close to your nose, is pointed down. That is a part of the eye that I don't know what it's called, but it's very important. So then, after you're done with your eyes, you just keep on fixing them because, as in my case, my eyes are rather lopsided, unfortunately, but I'm fixing them. Also, it doesn't truly matter if they're not totally identical because eyelashes will cover that up. Next thing you do is the nose. That's basically like a wide V, and then you soften it, and then you just add 2 quarter circles to each side. The mouth is not going to be started because I'm switching stuff randomly. Okay, the nose. On top of that, you just do little dash lines for shading to give it depth. Now the mouth. I skip the whole cupid's bow thing. I just do a curving line up, and then underneath the top bit, which I've shaded a medium gray, I just do a curved line and some shading. I don't really bother with drawing the entire thing. Okay, back to working on my eyes. See, the thing is, eyes are one of the focal points of your drawing. Everyone's going to be looking at the eyes. Even though they're actually quite small, which I will touch upon soon. So just erase, erase, erase. And then you also, at some point, I don't know if this was obvious or not, but sometimes stuff is just not obvious, to me at least. You have to erase all your little lines that you use to draw the stuff in, or else it would look very odd. It'd be like drawing on a grid. Also, I would recommend getting a little bit of a more precise eraser than I have so you don't accidentally erase part of your nose and have to fix it. Always refine the shape of the face because once you draw your eyes, you may find that the shape of the face doesn't match the character, the mood, the emotion, anything. It doesn't match it anymore. So you need to change it up. So again, you can never work too much around eyes. Then you need to draw the irises. The irises are just basically round. Don't make them too big because then that means the person is staring creepishly at you for long periods of time. It's just kind of scary. They should just be round little balls about in the middle of the eye, or depending on which direction they're looking in the mode. And then just a little bit of space between the bottom of the eye and the eyeballs. Then for the eyebrows, you just draw simple curved lines, and then to get the guide, and it's about a fourth up from the eye, and then you just do smaller dashed curved lines to draw the eyebrows. I prefer to make my eyebrows thicker than thinner, but a good place to get references is modeling magazines because they hire people to do their eyebrows, and it's really expensive. It's like eyebrow waxing and stuff, and tweezing. It's kind of painful too. Then underneath the nose, I kind of skipped over this a little bit, but you just do a little half circle and then shade it in for the little dip. From about the middle of the iris straight down is where your neck should start, and long, slender necks are a good idea because I'm not a big fan of clunky necks, but if your character, your OC, has a clunky neck, then go for it. Yeah, go for it. I think I picked that up from like a cheesy Disney show. I shouldn't be watching Disney at my age. There's something wrong with me. Okay, now for the hair. The hair has to have movement and body. So my hair, as you can kind of see, is just a little bit above the head. And then here I have a very large forehead. So I draw sort of bangs to cover up the aforementioned kind of unattractively large forehead. Right now it's side bangs, but you can do anything you want. And I make sure to have hair. And also note, I don't draw every single strand of hair there is. I'm just trying to get the general movement and the motion of the hair. Because in semi-realistic, unlike your hair, if you just looked at it in the mirror, it's not about every single individual hair. It's about how it looks, how the light hits it, the curl, the movement, the shine. So now I'm getting distracted and I'm just kind of shading in to round out the face. What I'm doing right here is just small light gray circles. I do a gentle curved line for the cheekbones because cheekbones are important and models have cheekbones and models are pretty. I mean, like, you don't have to go with traditional beauty standards, but I am just kind of running out of ideas, sort of. And I usually do my cheekbones like that anyway. So now we just need to erase the ugly general, like where the head was, the top of the head, we erase that because there's hair covering it now. However, if you're using like a ballpoint pen to draw this, you can always, if you're not, you can always just turn that top of the head into a headband. So now I just do some shading between the eye and the eyebrow because our face seems to be a little sunken in there. Just shade it just like it's aforementioned. And I've also forgotten to draw the crease, which is the crease of your eyelid. And to do that, you just draw a line that generally follows the eye, and then you shade it a little bit, just near the nose. Next, the eyelashes. Okay, I have seen way too many eyelashes that look like fur. Golden rule. Only a few. They should be of varying lengths, and they should be thicker at the bottom and thinner on the top. Underneath the eye, I'm drawing a waterline. Now here, my waterline is kind of large and clunky. But that's the look I'm going for because my character is sort of the person who stays up all night to complete her research project. She doesn't get a lot of sleep and she doesn't really care. So, in addition, it just adds to the sort of under eye bag look. If you are doing a more delicate character, I would recommend doing a closer line and a finer erasing or whitening or whatever professional artists call it. Now, again, for the hair, you can see that while I am drawing like dashed lines, no, not dashed lines, flowing strokes, how's that sound? Flowing strokes that follow the shape of the face. Oh God, that's bad British accent. You just do the flowing strokes, and then some strands of hair will be farther back than others, and the lighter bit where the light is hitting it should not be white, but instead light gray for a more realistic look. So you just continue with the hair following the general guidelines and basic laws of motion as to where the hair would have gone. You can see that here I've fallen into a bit of a pit trap. I'm starting my line of hair about a millimeter off from where the head is, so I have to shade darker to make sure it looks natural. Then I repeat the process on each side of the head. It's kind of self-explanatory. You just do the same thing following the strokes. Also, the hairline is generally going to be obscured. It looks kind of weird if you just leave it out there, like just erase it a little bit. I don't know why, but I've never had much luck with it, so I just get rid of the hairline altogether. And then I just keep on doing it, and just, yeah, the hair is definitely one of the more tedious bits of drawing because not much happens. So just do some little fixing, and you just keep on doing your strokes, and make sure to keep them loose and flowing, because if they start looking, like planned, or you start taking a minute for each strand of hair, it's probably something wrong. Once you're done, you can just add a few stray hairs to lend to that look of like casualness and casualness. I'm not sure what else to say. It's just gotta look like natural. Yes. I can't believe it took me that long to think of that. Okay, and then for the shading, which looks kind of sketchy right now, like sketch lines and stuff, you have this thing called your finger. You just like move it around on your pencil, and then all of a sudden it makes it look way softer. It's really cool. You should try using it sometimes. So now the only thing left for this picture is the iris. And surprisingly enough, it doesn't have to look perfect because the eyes, although the focal point, are pretty small. So you just do a little circle, a little white circle, sort of at the corner of the upper corner of the eye. You do a black circle directly below it, and then you do a gradient from dark gray to light gray. Just repeat the process, and you can see here that on my right eye, I kind of messed it up a little bit, but no one cares because it's so small, you can't really see it unless if you just stared at it for a while, and since this is like your first drawing probably, no one's going to be staring at it. So there you go, picture's done. I didn't plan an ending for this, but you should be proud of yourself and your fabulous, possibly newly acquired drawing skills. Please check my channel for more of these videos.